So, I also got pin badges. There he is. He is completed. Oh no. Look at that. Yeah, most likely. See? Ivy's sword. Look at that. Good morning. How is everyone today? Let's just lower that. Hope we're all well. Hope we're all good. Well, hello, Zakarami. How are you? How are you doing? Thank you for joining me this morning as we continue for build for PG Unleashed Bazooka. Doing fine. That's good to hear. Alright, let's move these out for weight. Oh. As you probably guessed, I am a gunpla builder, but I also like to do some 3D design on the side. But I also play games as everyone else, but mainly build the gunpla. And today we will be continuing my bazooka design. I think I lost a piece somewhere. Just a little like flappy bit that comes out so you can press it to their palm. Yeah, what are you working on then? And welcome to my channel. So as you can see from what we've got here, let's get the mouse up wherever it's got to. There we go. So we've done this part of bazooka, which is here. We're now working on this part, the coupling for the tube. And specifically working on this flat piece here that holds on to the trigger housing. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. So yeah, we've got so far we've got this. We've done most of it, all this. Now what we have to do is holes here. So yeah. Let me know if music's a bit too loud or not. I don't think it is at the moment, but you should be able to hear me clearly. Yeah. What are you working on then, Zaku? Anything nice? Anything good? Anything tasty, unique, rare? So I like to build rare stuff on this channel, or out there stuff you don't normally find. Like my Uganda Nana, which is just a day glow yellow clear EG RX782. I'll get done building my Zaku army that I did yesterday. Oh wow, that's cool. What grade is that? HG, MG? So I'm all right now. I'm just measuring the distance between this edge here and the outer edge here of this circle, this hole. And try and get as close as possible. Because what I like to use other blocks to help with placement. 0.97. I try to be as accurate as I can. And then I just line them up. So now this edge here is this edge, and this edge will be on the other side of this circle we'll put in. And then I'm going to do a height. So how many Zakus have you built then for this army of yours? That's perfect. 7. So this corner here is where this hole will be on here. So if we get a circle, hold out, increase the sides. I got 40 green, 30 blue, 20 red, and 10 white. That's pretty cool. I'll take it at all HG size. That's a lot of Zaku. Okay. 1.5 on the hole. Width of this is 1.36. Let's just make this 1.5 width. And then we want to flip it over. So we want that on there. And that just spins it round like so. Yeah, the only problem is for dent in my wallet. Don't we all feel that? So I'm selling a lot of my Warhammer, so I can afford more Gunpla. And Pokemon, because we do a lot of Pokemon on this channel. You can use channel points to get Pokemon cards. 2,500 for an all Pokemon booster. 4,500 for V-Star Universe, because they're expensive. And you can use bits too on the sound alerts. Right, let's line these all up. So I need these two. We'll line up. No, line up. There we go. We'll line up with this one here. So we want that edge and that edge. And then we want this circle to be centered with this. So we use that tool again, click on the main piece, and then we click the center. There we go. Sorted. So that's that hole. Next is a big hole in it, which is that one there. So I'll do that next. So first things first, again, we're going to do the distance from this edge here to the hole, and we're going to do a distance from this edge to the far end of the hole. So this block would then be floating. And when we click on here, if we want to get move, because when you wherever you click on these shapes, that's the edge that's going to move. So here the top edge will move, but if I angle it down like that, the bottom edge will move. But first I want to align the top of this with this. So we just go to alignment, and there we go. And then we can do measurement down. So what is this for? So this is for the PG Unleashed. Everyone complains that the PG Unleashed doesn't have a bazooka, or the other PG RX. So what I'm doing, like I've done many times before, is building or designing and then printing a piece. This looks like that's 7 as well. Oh, no, that's there. Okay, cool. For PG Unleashed. You know, PG Unleashed RX78-2. Where did I put it on? So the last few streams, I built this. The PG Unleashed. It does need decals because it came with stickers. I don't like stickers. So I will be getting decals as soon as I can. But yeah. So I'm designing a bazooka with this, using for Gundam base RX-782 bazooka as a base. So we're doing it all in 1/100 scale, and then I'm going to scale it up, so then it's PG scale. Or using this in a free program called Tinkercad. I've designed many different things, like these eyes here. So if your FM aerial doesn't come with clear eyes, it comes with solid green eyes. Where is she? There she is. So yeah, this FM aerial, the eyes are solid green and not like transparent like a lot of people want, because they want to make her entirely light up. So I want to put LEDs. So I 3D designed a printable set of eyes for the aerial, which you can print in a clear resin. Where some people have just done clear resin casts. So they've made a mold of the eyes and then casted it. I've also done the HG basic polycaps. So you can go download that file from my 3D codes and print them for free. 296. All right. Just changing the size of this hole, and then we're going to start aligning it into the correct place. And I thought I'd show everyone my process of how I do this, so they themselves can start learning and doing their own 3D designs and such for their own Gundam, and they can see how easy and quick it is to do yourself. Like so. So we've made this flat bit here. There we go. On this coupling. I don't need that anymore. Let's just move that to one side. And then I'll group all that together. There we go. I want to change the snap grid to 0.1mm. So this is all done in metric as well. You can, I think, change it to imperial in the settings, but it's all mainly metric. So yeah. So as we've done here with the front part of the bazooka tube, there's a key at the end here that we made, and it's hollow all the way through, and there's the flume here, which then goes into this coupling part here, which is also keyed, and this goes on top. So the next thing is to do is to mate these two pieces together. So I'm going to grab all that because I have not oh, that's the wrong way. Let's change that to -90. There we go. So now the key is along here. What I want to do is group these, and I want that then those two whole bits in the center ideally. There we go. So yeah. So to align these is not too hard, to be honest. If we get our square again here that we've been using, align it with this tube part here, so that's on the same level. And then what I want is, what I'll do is I'll probably go from this end to this edge. So if we group these together again, go that edge. So I'm going to measure from this edge of this tube to this front end of, well, this is back end technically, of this coupling bit here. So we do that, measure that length. Digital canvas help a lot in this because you can get really fine tuned to the measurements, but you can use a ruler. Oh, it's 24. All right, let's go with 24 that way, and then height wise, so if we go from the bottom here to the top here, like that. There we go. Looks like 19.4. So this goes on top where the keyed part is here. So where there's a keyed groove in there for the key of the bazooka tube. But this sits along on top of that key as well. So we've got to add that. So what we do is, we first off align with this. So we want up that height, and we want it there. Right, cool. So that's the height we want it. Then we want to group these two and then center on that, and there we go. So already that's starting to look more like the coupling we have here. Next tricky part, well, I say it's probably the easiest part to be honest, is these two like supports. All we have to do is measure the length from this edge to this edge, put a block in, doesn't matter what size the block is because it's going to be going into here and then eventually cut up anyway. That's why I haven't grouped these together yet. And then align them with using the box there to then cut the corners off, so that won't be too hard. So if we get a block, let's start off with a block, zero my calipers so they stay zeroed, thank you. Just a lot of music on my end. Alright. Yeah. 9.6, the width of that. So we make the width of it 9.6. And then the depth of it. That's 2. Let's go 2. I want that one. And then the height, I don't really want it to be too deep. It can be any depth, to be honest. What's the height of this? 11. Let's make this 5 then. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this will be cut away by this hole here. I just want to twist it 90 degrees. Right, cool. Next then is I want to cut these top corners off. So I want to grab me one of my triangle shapes, turn it into a hole. And then we're going to try to measure the length of one side. I'm just going to do this roughly, by eye mostly. That looks like 2.6 to me. And because it's a right angle, and it looks like they are 45-degree angles, so each side would be 2.6. Oops. And then let's just do that as 2.5. And then I could use the angle tool here to change the angle, or I could use a mirror tool and just mirror it in that axis. Then we want 2 of these, so if you hold down Control C and B, you paste one on, and then you can mirror that. And then we just align these 2 triangles with this. I hold down Shift so I can select multiple. You can drag and select as well, but it's not as accurate. Sometimes you might select something in the background. And then we align with this tool here. The same with this piece here. And then we group these 3 things together, and then we have that piece. And because we need 2, we can just duplicate it. And now we have 2 of them. What we do now is we're going to make this box up again so it's the same width as these two here, like that. Then we can align it along that box. So we're looking at what? 6 points. Let's go with 7. So there we go, and then we can center that with this box, like so. Now we need height. So again, on the top of those pieces to the bottom of the cylinder. So 12.5. So what we want to do then is, first things first, is to align it with this box. So we want to have a top there at this corner. Then we want this one at the top over here at this corner. And then what we're going to do is align these two with this. So what you do with your align tool, you make sure to select this. And then we align them both into the center like so. And there we have it. So this piece will be this piece. So if I just group all these together like so, and then just press the group button, and there we have it. We have a coupling. So that piece there is now here. It is upside down, but it's not too bad. That can be rectified, and that doesn't really matter. So we can just move that to one side now alongside with that bazooka tube. That's over there because we can use that later. So that's that piece done now. So we've done that piece and this piece. And these two go together like so. So yeah. The next piece obviously is this tube, which as you can see is slightly more complicated shape. So what we do is we start measuring from this lip here to the bottom here. And of course it's got like loads of little details like nooks and grooves and stuff like that, panel lining, which we can do ourselves. These angles will be slightly more difficult because they're not exactly 45 degrees or 90 degree angles. Same with this one here. I think that is a 45 degree angle there. And all these little nubs here, so you can put this onto it, a shoulder guard that goes on top like that. To be fair though, we could model this tube with this bit on, so then we don't have to worry about those nubs, and we can make it more solid, more one piece. Because that piece goes on, this piece goes on here, so you can attach this attachment, this peg here, and this peg basically pops out, so you can attach it to the bottom, onto the back of his skirt or the waist. So we could just model that straight on as well. In fact, even on that on there might be helpful. Because what we do is we'll model this separately and then we attach it onto this bit on the tube. So it's hollow all the way through. But it stops at a certain point around about here. So that goes into the tube. So I might just end. So I might make this whole bit here, this bit, solid. Because I only need a hole in this end for that. And a slot in the top for that piece there. And that's what you need a hole for. So I won't make this one hollow. I'll make this completely solid. So yeah, let's get a. What we can do to make this a bit quicker is just get this piece here, copy it, then we select it, ungroup so it gets all our pieces separately, then just delete the pieces we don't need, like the holes. So you're only going to need one hole in the bottom there. Yeah, so this back bit where all the pod, like all the rocket pods go in for the bazooka. This is a magazine. Each one of these is a bazooka thing that goes on the back like that. That goes inside there. What we can do is just model this inside that, so we don't have to worry about that. You building a Gundam? No, Dover King. I am designing a bazooka for the PGU, the Perfect Grade Unleashed. That is only held in that place by this shoulder guard there and this on top. Like that. That's the only reason why that doesn't move, is because of that and that. Yeah. Because people complain that the PGU doesn't have a bazooka. Or any of the PGs, to be honest. Or for mega size. The mega size ones don't have a bazooka either. So I'm going to design a bazooka for the PG. But we're doing it in 1/100 scale because that's a bazooka I've got. Taking measurements from this bazooka to design our own. That's almost similar to it. And then we can then scale it up, add detail and such to it. And I'm using Tinkercad, which is a free program anyone can use to make basic shapes into what you want, like Ariel's eyes. I did that in Tinkercad. Or polycaps, which I've also done in Tinkercad. So yeah, all fun and games. So first, we're doing this piece next, which is slightly taller than this piece. However, all this is still similar to that. So this is going to be the same diameter, and this tube is going to be the same diameter as that one. So we just took the one we made earlier, copied it, and removed bits we didn't need, and then we're going to adjust the size. So again, with my digital calipers, we are going to measure. Mm, 71.51. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll change the height of this. Which extends that. Then we'll find out what the height of that is first before I move it. I don't think it is as big. .75. Yeah, it isn't. With that piece selected, so we'll select this piece and this piece, and then we'll align them at the top of this piece, like so. And then we want from that lip all the way down here. And that's 6.64.54. Let's go 64.55. There we go. And there's, so far that main shape is done. We're not going to make this hollow. There's no need. So this is going to be solid. But we are going to put in a hole in the back here for this. So we can slot this in. And we will make it this shape. We don't need this split down the back here. That can be all filled in. We don't need that split. And the only other split we actually need is this here. This line here. You can see. Because that bit is keyed into this. And this helps this from not moving around so much. And this also goes in there like that, so we're going to have to make this piece, all this is going to be a separate piece, which we'll do with this bit. And that's a nice 45-degree angle, so this tubing won't be too hard to do. So yes, the next thing we're going to do is just make this hole in the bottom here for this. But first, I think I shall add this detail in here first. So we've got like a panel line just all the way around with some notches, which I can do quite quickly. So we'll do that first. So look at that 0.4 of a millimeter for that line. So I'll get one of these circles and get our little block here. And align that block with this for now. Increase the size so it's more smooth. I reckon the depth of that would be the same depth too. So I want to get another solid piece as well. You'll soon see why. Right, so that is going to be 0.4. It's going to be the same width as this, which is 9.9. Cool. And then how far is that from? Look at 3.6. Okay. Cool. So take the width of this as well, which is 9.9. Let's reduce that by 0.4, so that'd be 9.5. 9.5. Don't matter for height of this really. Cool. So then we'll get this. I'm going to align it with this first, so it's at least the same height. And there we go. and then we align it with this tube here. There we go. So that's going to, when we group that, that's going to cut into here and make just a dissection through. So then we've got that panel line on there, and then we're going to just put this into it, which will then just fill out what we've cut out. So we've got just an edge to it. Yeah, go away. The next thing to do is these notches you can see here. Let him go away. So what we're going to do next, I want to measure the depth of the height of these notches. So I'm going to have to get close to this, just so I can. There we go. So they're about 1 mil in length. About 0.5 in width. So what we do is get one of these. So it's 1 mil. And 0.5. Cool. We turn it into a hole. And if we make for width just 10. So it's just slightly bigger than this. Right. Next thing we want to do is make 2 of them. Control C. And then we want to angle them. So if we angle it 45, same with this one, but we'll do 45 in a different direction. So we do minus 45. We get a cross. So if we align, what I'm going to do is I'm going to align these two with this. So we want it centered, centered, and there. So there we have it. So those, I'm going to make those notches that we see along here. So if we group, so yeah, if we take, we don't want to, well, we do want to group all together. So we just take that and then group it. Now you can see there is a dissection all the way through like that. So this is where this piece comes in, and we can align it with this and with that. If we select that and change it to a different color, there we go, pink, and there you go. And you can see all of that there is filled in now. Now we have our panel lines in the bottom of our bazooka tube, which is what we want. Let me just put those together. So yeah. So we've got quite a bit of detail on there already now. Oops. So now we've done that, we can now make the hole here. So what we do is, because it's a different shape as well, it's flattened at the top. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off with just a normal tube, increase the sizes, and get the diameter of this tube here. So I'm going to do a flat bit, it's alright. There we go. So 7.31. So even though this is 7.31, we want the hole to be slightly bigger than this. So it's not, so we're not struggling to force it in. Because when you're printing, or whenever someone prints, you've got to remember that there's going to be some tolerances you're going to have because the resin will shrink or expand and stuff like that. So you've got to have, so the hole's going to have to be slightly bigger by a few thou of a mil. So let's go with the centre bit there because it's the biggest. And of course this isn't a perfect circle either, so it's going to change a little. But yeah, so let's go with 7.5. There we go. The depth of a hole is going to be slightly deeper than this. Luckily we can measure that because digital calipers have a little bit that stick out the bottom. So I can measure how far the hole's got to go. It's like 10.2. So I'm going to make it 10.25. The reason why I'm not made the hole into a hole yet and still one solid piece is because I've got to do that flat edge along the top there, which means, you know, do a slight calculation. So if we get, so that's 6.65. So I'm not good with maths recently. Brain is shot with that, so let's get a calculator out. So the width is 7.5. So do 7.5 minus 6.68. It's not exactly 1. Equals 0.82. So we need a hole. Oops. And it's going to be 0.82 in width. Oops. There we go. Doesn't matter for width and that of this. We're just going to cut a piece out of this piece here. And then we'll group it. There we have it. So now we have a flat section to our hole. And we're just going to turn that into a hole. No, we don't. There. Thing is, we don't want it to mess with this. Let's just align these again. Right, so that's all one piece now. So we want it centered on this. But if we now try to center this hole in the shape it's in, with this, it won't be properly centered. So what you want to do is, if we ungroup like that, and then if I change the color of this, no, I want more start, there we go, I do. So group this with this and align it like so. Now if we go underneath, I can still select that piece there, align it with this piece, and then I can just do that. So this is still aligned with this. Select it, turn it into a hole, and there we go. So now when we group these two, it's going to make a hole. However, I have seen a problem with these two notches here. I put them at 45-degree angles. That's what I thought they were at. So looks like that piece to that piece. I thought that angle's 45 degrees. It's not just. I think I can get away with it. It should be alright. Again, this is my interpretation, not an exact piece. Okay. So we can now group those two together. And then we have our hole for that piece there to slot into. The next bit, ooh, that's another thing I forgot to do. Let's just ungroup that quickly. So we need to rotate this piece because the key at the bottom here is on the opposite side to the flat bit here. So we've got to make sure that's that as well. So we can take this and rotate it, or minus 45, oh, minus 90 I should say. There we go. So now that flat bit is on the opposite end to that key. We can now group it together. There we go. Oh, that went off center. Why did that go off center? Interesting. Just ungroup this quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 90. There we go. Yep. And then align it with here. There we go. That's sort of the misalignment out. So that's it so far. The next bit to do is I'm going to do these two flat bits. So as you can see here, they made it so it's like a little notch in the center there for this to go on top. And that bit there is slightly angled there at a 45-degree angle by the looks of it. A lot of this is all at 45 degrees, which is handy. This is going to be like a more complicated piece just because of how much detail there is on this piece. This is probably one of the easiest parts. This is going to be a hard part. This is easy. This will probably be a bit difficult. Again, like a lot of this, and all of this, I can do in one piece. So it's not an issue. So that way I'm not having to print out loads of little tiny pieces. I was printing out all this in one piece. It can be solid. It's not a problem if that's stuck in there. I can always measure around. So it's not a problem for me. Cool. Alright then. So that bit done, we'll do this flat bit next. So we'll go flat all the way from there to there. Missing out that centerpiece there. But that's still flattened off at the top. This is going to be another custom hole, basically. So we'll get this piece here. We'll turn this into the whole thing. So we know for width is 9.9. Okay, so now we want to find the stats of 9.9. Hey Mitch, I got a sub, yay. Thank you very much. Yes, one of people, oh, what's his name? Lord Metal Man. One of the people I'm with on Twitter and in his Discord, he gave you a sub. You give a lot of people a sub, actually. This is going to be a bit difficult to measure because of where the whole thing is. Let's go with 8.9. So 9.9. So 9.9 minus 8.9 is 1. I shall thank him if I see them. Yeah, they'll be around. Hey, Pepega, I got me a cool thing. What do you get then, Mitch? What have you got? How you doing, Pepega? Right, and then we've got to try and customize this. Have a little notch in the center there. So the best way to find out the height of that is just by using the calipers like this. Like so. 0.5, okay. That really is cool. Why, thank you. Different. Ah. I got for different. Nice. Thank you, Pepega. I'm doing my best. Shape moment, yeah. I'm doing lots of shapes and then cut them into what I need. That there. Don't need to know the height. Big blue boy, yeah. Right. But yeah, hopefully when I'm done, I'll be able to rescale this for even a mega size Gundam. So I'm going with 14. Okay. 17.84. Interesting. 24.35. All this so I can just cut away a piece. Alright. Let's line these two up. Oops. Right, now I've got that little notch in there. Turn this into a hole. Turn it into a hole. The only issue is with Lilith UI is backpack arm with phased array cannon is already loose, but everything else is good. Alright. That's not too bad. That's something that can be fixed. Right, I want to flip that just the other way around. And then we want to take this and add it to this. So center it onto that edge because it's the opposite edge to this key. So when I cut it away, boop, there we go. You now have this cutaway. You know, glue thicken up the pegs, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. Don't know where Mr. V is, he's probably sleeping in again. Don't know what he's like. Right, next piece we need is this slit down the side here. Because that is for that bit there, that key. So we need this slit so that fits in like that. Like so. I do need to put a 45-degree angle there. I might not. Here's a tricky one. Decisions on aesthetics, basically, that is. It is a very small angle, but when you enlarge this up to 160, it's going to be that long and that thick. You're going to notice it. It won't take long to do that little bit. And add it to that. So if we get, let's just get one out. And rotate it 90 degrees. Mega, time for me to shower. Aye, you best, you stinky git. Alright. So what we want to do is we want to try and measure this lip here, basically. Very apt, yes. Hot and sweaty at the moment, or hot and sweaty? Right, that's 0.76. And then the height of it. It's all like near enough guesswork, it's the same. Alright. So let's see. And let's just ungroup this, because it ungroups the last thing it did. 24.35, so 24.35, so that's the same height as each other. And then we've got to add on 0.76. I'm terrible with maths today. 24.35. So 1.5 on 1. Times sandwich. Right, let's turn this into a hold here. And then we can align this up with this one. There we go. Interesting. Interesting. So I go for dogs, then mental. My measurements are all wrong. They're all wrong. Right. That there has to be one. .5. Right. As long as I remember those measurements. There we go. I can transfer them onto the other. And then if we just group those together. There we go. So we now have that slope that was there. Like a little angled slope just there. And we've got that. So the next thing we're going to work on is this slit. So this one we get a hole. Doesn't matter what size hole it is really. Right, so the height of it. Let's zero my calipers first. Oh, 14. That should be alright. 13.95 won't be too bad. It should be 0.7 of thickness. And then in width. So 1.1 in width. Cool. So that's our slit. I'm supposed to go in there. Cool. don't think it's going to be thick enough. Nope, didn't think it would be. That's alright. So I just line it up like that. And I'm just going to pull it through like that. And then we're just going to group it together like so. And there we go. I don't mind it cutting too much in there, you're not going to see it. So it's not going to bother me. So we have done the hole in there, the details around here, the flat bit here, and the slit. So that's part of that tube so far. So the next thing we're going to do with this entire thing is this piece. So I'll probably cut all this out of one piece. So I'll get the height and we'll go from there. And we'll start cutting everything out. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this piece, which is the shoulder pad, I'm going to make this part of that piece. So it's all going to be printed in one piece like that. So this entire, so my design when I'm finished, that's what we're going to be printing out, all of this. There's a hole in there so you can move this about. Because that's the piece that lets you attach it to the back of his skirt, which I might have to design slightly differently because of what the holes I've got on the back of his skirt is. Yeah, so all this, except for that hinge bit there, all this is going to be one piece. I'll get that out later. So yeah, on to the next piece, which is this section here. So we're just going to take a, so I'm going to keep that to one side because this is my alignment block. Put this to one side for now because I don't need it. So we're going to get a block out. We'll start off with measuring for width, which is 4.85. Cool. Then we're going to measure the height, which is going to be a little bit trickier because of the shape in that. So what I'll do is I'll measure the height from there to there. Which is 6.89. So if we go with 7, be on the safe side. That way it can't be wrong. And then we want the length of it next. Going to this is 32.2. So there is our little block we're going to use to carve into, so we can get the rest of this shape out. So first things first is I'm going to carve a block here. So I'm going to measure from that angle there. So these are not exactly right angled. Okay, so it is going to be 20.9. Yeah, 20.9. So I get a hole that is that. Let's do 20.9. And then the height of it will go from there to there. And look at that, 5.11. 5.11. Right, cool. So then we can line these two blocks up. Buggers. And if we merge these two, that's the first chunk taken out. There's that big chunk in there taken out now. And then we want to do this bit here. So we want to get another triangle piece, which is here. So if we ungroup this, we can then get the measurement of this piece here, which is 5.11, so we've made that 5.112. Alright, let's turn it upside down and back to front. There we go, that's better. And then if we just get the length of it from that point to here, which again is a lot of guessing work, to be honest. Okay, so it is just 5.2, so it's not exactly the same. Oh, wrong one. That's what I want, yeah. We can turn that into a hole as well. So we could faff around all day trying to align this up, but I can just get my alignment block, which is over here. So let's align this block up with the end of that. And then this is what, 20.9 plus 5.2 is 26.1. And then I can just align this with my alignment block. And then align it with this. There we go. So we've got that bit to there, and we've got up there. The next bit we want is this one. This piece here. As you can see here, it angles that way and then angles down again. This is more as an aesthetic thing, so I'm not going to need to get this exactly right. As long as it looks right, that's the main thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this piece. I don't want to move that. problem when it does stuff internal. Oh, let's just move it out of the way. I can always realign it. And you're realigned. Alright, so we'll take this piece, flip it round. Right, so if this is 26.1 and that is 32.2, that's 6.1. Alright, so this needs to be 6.1 in length. And then we can align this with this block here. So as you can see, we now have somewhat that line there. However, it doesn't come as low as this here, so we need to raise that up a little. And that is basically down to guesswork. It's all about the aesthetic then, how sharp that angle wants to be. It's near enough halfway. I think that will do fine. And the next thing to do is I'm going to copy this one again. Control C V to get out. I'm going to, so I want now this angle here. So I'm going to move it 90 degrees. We should turn it to the right. There we go. We should turn it to the left. What is with you? Anyway, I can then just mirror it to get that angle there. So, as we can see here, it doesn't go all the way down. So, if I'm doing a lot of guesswork here, but with some measurements. So there should be a mill at the bottom there. At least, and we went to 7. So yeah, so if we do this to 6, not 1 full width. Right. Then we align it with this block here again. And there you can see that shape in it now. But again, it's not, that line there is a lot longer. A lot more angled down, you see. So we could drag this down a little. Like so. And then take this one and then it lets me drag it in a little this way. Like I said, this is all aesthetic. So we don't have to be super accurate with this bit here because it's not essential. It's just an aesthetic piece. It's not like all these pieces here where they have to be exact or it's not going to fit together properly. It's just nice and aesthetic. So we'll go with that, and we'll just group all these together. There we go. We now have that basic shape. Let's just take my alignment block out of here. Let's change the color of this for now to green. Yeah, it's all just for aesthetics. The only actual piece on here that means anything is this little nub right there, because that locks into here, which keeps this together, like so, like that, which stops that from moving so much. So I've got to make sure that's correct, but everything else doesn't have to be. And of course, yeah, there's going to be a gap there for that key bit there, which I've got to do at some point as well, which won't be too hard. Be a lot easier to do when I've got this on. Okay, then, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this shoulder bit here, which will sit. I keep pointing at the screen. Are you going to print this from resin or plastic? I am going to print this in resin, ABS like resin. So it will be quite sturdy. But I won't be printing it to this scale, I'll be scaling it up and then printing it. And then when I'm happy with it, I'll then throw on more detail onto it. And then I'll distribute files of everyone, so everyone can print their own then. So I'm going to do all this in one block as well. It's not too difficult. So what I'll do is, for now, I'm going to move that to one side. And then get another block out, because there's a lot of angles to cut into this as well. And this has got to sit into that piece there, like so. The great thing is though, because I'm merging these two pieces together, I don't need to make this cut and just plop it in. Cool. So yeah, let's start with that then. So we're going with this next. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure the length of it. Get all the basic measurements first. So that's flat and that's flat. We're looking at, excuse me, 27.1. That's poor. There we go. And then the height of it. One side is higher than the other, so we'll go with the highest side first. So we're looking at 9.85. And then for width, .95. Okay, excuse me. There we go. So that's a block we're working with. The best thing to do really to start with is to get this basic shape, and then we'll start cutting in the angles that this has. To be fair, because I'm making this, I can make this attach any way I want. And of course, because it's going to be resin, I'll probably end up super gluing it in, so I don't really need to have that bit. I don't need to have that bit. I could if I want. Well, once I've printed it, I could just drill holes and pin it in myself. I don't have to have pegs. So yeah, because it's going to be much bigger than this as well. There's going to be a lot more area to drill holes. So what we're going to do is we'll get the basic shape. We're going to cut out this angle first, which is basically this angle here. but it does sit in a little. So we've got to remember all this here is going to sit in a little to that. It looks like it's only going to be about a mil into it, so yeah. So what we'll do is get a triangle piece first, and then we're going to get the angles we need. So this looks like a proper 45-degree angle. So we'll get the measurements. Again, it's going to be rough. To be fair, if I really wanted to be extra pinicky, let's just get this, ungroup that, and then just get the measurements of this for 5.1. Like that. Just easier. To be fair, that's going to be bigger, so I can actually measure it. Seven, yeah. Alright, let's just regroup this little piece here. So yes, that's 7. So it's like a whole mil bigger. 2 mil. Right. Oh, wrong one. Took off my numlock. 7. Cool. And then we just turn it into a hole. Don't want that. You press the wrong button. Turn it into a hole. And I also want to copy it, because I want 2 of them. Control Z. So I'm going to align this with this. So there. So what we got there is that bit there. And then while I'm here, let's turn this one upside down, because this will be this section here, and I can actually measure that. Oops. Which is 7, so yeah. Which is perfect. So if we do that to this, line them up again. So yeah, we're starting to get our basic shape now. And then we want this centerpiece here, which will be 17.5 in length. So we get another whole piece. Do 7 high. And then 17.5 in length. Change that colour back to green. Doesn't matter what colour they are, doesn't actually affect the overall thing. It's just easier for me to determine then. So if we align these 2 blocks up with my alignment block, 17.5 plus 7 is 24.5. Then I can align this with this. then align it with this. And there we go. We've got that. So I can do all this interior detail as well. That wouldn't be too bad. But we'll do that after. We'll get this basic shape done. And so here's where you can see there's like a slight angle here. Very slight. Not by much really. So we'll get that angle out as well. Because this is cut off lower down, it's not going to be exact, but if there's a will, there is a way of getting measurements. So 2.46. Okay. So let's see. Let's copy this piece here. Control-Z-V. Why did you have to be inside? Bugger. Let's realign this. So this whole length. And then what I want to do is flip that round. I want to reduce the size. So that there, I believe, is, so that's 2710, 24.5. You're looking at 2.6 for that there, which is, yeah, that's what I measured. That's 2.6. I really think this is going to be at least half of that. So we're looking at 1.8. So if we get this block here and extend it by 1.8, which is 25.5, then 26.3. There we go. These two should line up. Should is the ultimate word there. Then they do. That's good. And then just center that on this. There we go. So far, we've got that. Okay, of course, it's cut off a little bit lower and at an angle. Joy. So again, I think that bit there is just a bit of aesthetic. So I can cut off an angle if I want. And first, I want to get the height. So what I'm doing here is just using the help of my work desk. So I get the full height of that, which is 7.92. So 7.9, so 9.85, 9.85 minus 7.92, 1.93. Okay, so if we get one of these, I'm just going to make, doesn't actually matter, but let's just do that. And then, what was it? 1.93. Okay, so that's 1.93. We can then align it with this. That chops it off there. And then if we really wanted to get that little angle that's just there, tiny ass angle, we're just going to get another one of these. Change the angle that it's at a moment. Right, you best go to, yeah, good, you did what I wanted. For a change. Right, and then we can line it up with this. And then hopefully select it. No, there we go. And we get underneath, we can extend it down. And we've got that angle there. So what we'll do is we highlight the whole thing and cut it. So group it together, boom. And there we have the big basic shape for, let's move this out of the way. The basic shape for our shoulder rest, the shoulder pad. So let's change the color of this so we know it's a different piece. So that there is that basic shape. The tricky part now is getting this beveled look. So getting this beveled look is going to be a bit tricky. I don't want this really to look blocky. So yeah, I could just leave it like that, attach it to that, and then away we go. But that's not my style. Ooh. So let's see. How am I going to do this? We'll start off with this bevel here first, because this is going to be the easiest. This is not an angle. Either way, for width of for these cuts are going to be the same all the way around here. Like I say, I'm not going to put that bit on because I can attach this any way I want, especially once I've scaled it all up. But it does look nicer if it's beveled than if it's just a straight jut out. So let's do this then. First things first, I'm going to need a triangle, and then I'm going to need to rotate it 90 degrees, like that. Okay. Then, so we know for width of this piece, which is 8.95, what we need is the width of the interior piece here, and then divide that. And then take that away from that measurement and then divide by 2. So yeah, look at 522. So let's get my calculator out again. 8.95 minus 5.22 equals 3.75. Divide that by 2 equals 1.865. So that there is 1.865. There we go. And then the height of it, we can also measure. It's going to be high, but we're going to leave it like a mil by the looks of it. So if I measure, this here, see that's about 0.7. Full height is 2.9 by the looks of it. Yeah, 2.9. So you're looking at 2.2 for the height of this triangle. Like that. Let's turn it into a hole. Also, is that for right? Let's make this a little bit. So what's the width? So if we make this 2.8, just for the head of it. 28, there we go. So now we've got one beveled edge. So what I can do here, Control Z V, get our second beveled edge. We got opposite side like that. There we go. So that's the easy bit done. And all we have to do then is align this with this. Made it slightly longer than this so I can just center it and easier to grab. There we go, and that produced our beveled edges there. The next tricky part is this beveled edge. So what I'll do is, because the beveled edges are the same size all the way around, except for this bit here. They're slightly different because of that cut there, but that's not too much to worry about. So if we take just one of these, put it on its end. No, wrong way. There we go. And the height is 10, so if we make this 10. And then we can align it with this. Because you can go below for workspace, see? Yeah, that's about right. And we can copy this piece, put it on the other side. Let's mirror it first, and then we can grab it and align it with that. So I'll create a next bevel edge there. There will be a bevel edged here as well. So the best way to do that is get one of these, angle it 45 degrees, and then what we've got to try and do is just get it at the right height so that it intersects just right. So if I align that now with this, I just want to align it with this edge. So I'm going to see where I am. So yeah. We just grab it. I basically want it to align at that point there. So I can grab this little arrow to adjust for height, like that. So then that should cut another angle edge. So we get like this edge here. but it's like kind of rounded. There we go. What I can do then is just copy and paste, mirror it, and then align it with this edge, and then I can align this with this one, and they'll be in the same space then. Like so. There you go. And last but not least is this angle here, which we can actually take one of these. So paste it on, do that, mirror it, like so. And then bring it in, move it up. It might need to be elongated here. Yeah, it's going to need to be lengthened. That's okay. So if we move this out here, and then just do -45, we can then just lengthen it as long as we want. Change the angle again. There we go. It's all coming together. Hey V, you're up. Finally. Just getting to a good bit. Doing complicated things now. Right, so we want to angle this around about there. Yeah, okay. So let's align this with this first, just so it's on the same edge. Then I want to try to just have a look. I still want to leave like an edge to it. So if we grab it and bring it down like so. There we go. And then I want that kind of angle still. So we'll grab that and we'll just extend it a little until the cuts line up. That's what we want. Cool. Then we just copy and paste. How you doing, V, anyway? Hope all is well. Just mirroring this. Then we'll align it with this. And then we shall align it with this one. And there we go. And now if we group all this together, group, we have a cut. Which is what we're looking for. This bit here I can just cut off with one of these. Basically, if I just line this up, I can then change the side. Right, and then just change the side of this to align that piece there. There we go, and then we just boop. There we go. We now have the shoulder piece. We now have this piece. To be fair though, this lines here, they should be angled. So we can change that. Hi, well, Vivi's staring at me like I broke a wheel. But my rare campaign to fix her wheels going well. That's good. That's good to hear. Oh, just stretch it out. Oh, click on my joints. Oh, there we go. Cool. So yeah, so it looks like here, this is not really aesthetically pleasing. Be better if she could have waited a couple of weeks, would have got it myself with a new cage. True. True, but you know what she's like, she's impatient. So what we're going to do is we're going to angle these. So I'm just going to angle one of them. Till we get like the angle we want. Like that. And then what we'll do is we'll align this with this. There we go. We'll soon see if that was a good decision or not. We'll change the height of this though, just so it intersects properly. There we go. Let's delete that one and just copy this one and mirror it. Talk about aesthetics now on this bit. And don't you put timing yourself as an order. You do enough, you're here. Okay, so hopefully, let's have a look. There we go, that's what we're looking for. Look at that. Oh, that's just nice. That's very nice. So we have the basic, so we've got the basic shape of the shoulder pad now with the beveled edges. With 3D printed, yeah. So the next part to do, before we attach it to this piece here, which I've got in green over there, before we attach this piece, is inside here. The extra detail. Because we could just leave it like that, leave it flat and blocky. Or we could go that little bit extra and put some extra detail inside. Might put struts and all that in it. You know, just be fancy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how deep those holes are. Just need one of them. There we go. Look at 1.1. Okay. So, a little trick I know of is if we take this, copy it, turn it into its own hole, and then all we have to do is adjust the size of this so it does the exact same hole in there. Simple as that. And the easiest way to do that is to measure the distance between these two points here. So if we, again, so we know that to there is, I believe, 7. Well, we'll do 6. So if we do 6, there, plus 1.1. So 7.1. So if we change the height of this to 7.1, and then reduce the distance. So the actual distance right now is, I can measure the exact distance I need. It's 25.5. That doesn't look right. That looks better. So we group these together then. Center, center, and we go with, so yeah. So now with this here, we can actually adjust the depth and for length. How deep we want to go, basically. And we should adjust for width as well while we're at it. What's the width? 8.85 minus 2.2 is 6.7. Okay. 6.7. There we go. Now if we line them up. Right. So yeah, so and then we can just adjust the length and the depth to meet what we need. So I think that's long enough that way. Why isn't this not centered? It should be centered. There we go. Yeah. Just like that, see? There we go. And then if we just join those together, there we go. We have an interior cutout. It's more aesthetically pleasing. And then if we want to put ribs in, like we have here, which is easy enough to do. All we do is get one of these blocks, make it what, a mil width, 1 mil, make it so it's not that big, so do that, so it's 2.95 minus 5, so that's 2.4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plank this in here. Yeah, so that's the right height. So for width is 8.95. So now what we need is to cut out the angles here. So, do any of you remember the height of the angles? Easiest thing to do is just get another one of these and then undo it. and then just select, which is 1.87. Okay. Basically, I'm just going to nick one of these and delete the rest. Cool. And let's just reduce for length for that. Alright, just going to align it with this one. Oh, don't do that. Alright, then copy that. Mirror it. Just align it with that edge there. There we go. Then I'm just going to group those three together. And then I have myself a rib. And then I can just make, well, how many do we need? 4. So I've made 4 copies. Simple as that. Right. So wherever my alignment blocks got to, which is over there, bring us over here. Excuse me, we're going to align it with this side here. Cool, and we're going to reduce the length. So as you can see in here, we don't have a rib at that first spot, but we do have a rib next to it. So what we can do is try to measure, so that's successful. Try to measure from that bit to there. Which is 4.8. So 4.8. And then what we do is we just align a rib with it. So align this rib, center that there, right. And then align the rib with the end of that. There we go. And basically, we then align this block with this rib. Like so. Then we'll measure the distances between the 2 ribs here. Wait, let me get in there. What? Because that's the same, so I'm just going to measure that one. It's the same again, 4.8. So get one of these ribs like this, align it with a block there, and then align it with this. Like so. And again, move this rib along, move the alignment block along, to measure the distance between these 2 here, which is the same again. Hey, when it does that. Go away. And then do the last one, which is the same distance again. And there is one more rib, which is just on the inside there, like pop-ups. So yeah, so what we do is we'll do the same again. We'll just copy and paste one of these ribs, align it with this one, and then see what this looks like aligned with this one. It looks fine. So there we go. There's our ribs inside there. Don't worry about how deep they look. That will change in a bit. Damn tasty ribs, yeah. So we'll get rid of that. No, we won't get rid of it. It's my alignment block. Just put it to one side. So we'll align all these up. And boom, group them. There we go. We have shoulder pads. Yeah, it looks like they're sticking out of one side by the looks of it. Why are they doing that? Why is it giving me edges? That's weird. Oh. So it says here they're all lined down the center. Yeah, sometimes there's a weird graphical thing where it just does that. It's annoying. But it's not something I can be bothered with fixing. Right, the next thing to do is to get these two pieces together. So we'll get our alignment block again, because we need it for the height. So this is 7. So if we add this to this here, like so. We can then get the full height. Sorry, I was just biting that off. Right. Just so I've got some room. Let's just take that off for a sec. That's 7, yeah. We're looking at 10.5 in total. So what we're going to do is we're going to align this edge with this edge, because on this they're exactly flat with each other. So this with this. First we align it with these edges first, and then we align this with this in height. So we'll bring it up like that. Not by much, but it brings up enough. And then we can align these two together. And hopefully it's not doesn't look too bad. There we go. See? Like that. Yeah, this sticks out a little bit further than I would like it to. Than it is on this, but I think that doesn't actually matter. I don't think that matters really. I think that adds a little bit more character to it. But I can always change that. So if I click this block here, ungroup it. You know what? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it like it is. It's not exactly like this one, but it's only that bit there. It's only an aesthetic thing, and I like it. I like a little bit of jutting out there, because it is a separate piece at the end of the day. So yeah, what we can do then is this final bit here, where you see with a hole, where you got like a little bit of detail. We can do that. It won't take too long. So what we do is we'll get one of these shapes. And that looks like it's about 1 mil. Let's double check. Okay, it's about 1/2 mil. So we'll get this to 0.5. And then the height of it looks about, let's take it off there. Let's go with 5, alright. Okay. Well, and then as well, so we need a circle piece up the sides. So we know this is what, 0.5, so this will also be 0.5 in diameter. And then we want to put it on its side. Cool. Then what we do is we'll align this with this. Right top there, like so. And then to get the curved top, if we take the height and reduce it by 0.5, so it's 4.5, there we go. Oh no, 0.5. Reduce it by 0.25, so it's 4.75, there we go. So I dissect that circle into half, group those together, and we got ourselves that hole we need. And then we just angle it to look a little bit like that. So a bit more like that. We can then take it, bring the height up a bit. You can see where it's going to dissect. That looks just about right, actually. Right, then we're going to align it with this. Cool. And then we're going to group those two together. So you've got this massive dissection now going straight through. Oh, you want to fill that in, so what I'm going to do is just copy this, turn it a different colour. On. Let's ungroup that first. Then take it as a different colour. Then group these two. And then what we're going to do is just going to make this a little bit thinner by how deep do you think that is? Not that much. So let's go 4.2, and then we can align this piece with the green piece, centered, like so. If we join these two pieces together, we then get that groove. We're going to get rid of that. Witchcraft burning up a bazooka steak. We're only just doing like the shoulder pad section here. We've done a lot of this already. The last bit on this section is this here. We don't need to cut this out. We do need a hole for this bit here. But we can then just attach this and make this piece separate. So yeah, but this piece will be made after we scale it up. This little peg bit. Just because of the PG has like a different peg system to the MG. So yeah. So we're making quite good progress here today. So we get that, group those two together now. There we go. We have the shoulder piece, which goes onto this piece here. So the next bit is to do that. So this key is in line with this shoulder bit. So we're going to line them together. First, right, let's get our alignment block in line with this. Right, so I'm going to put all this together now here. I'm going to measure the height that is there. 19.86. Cool. So we'll get this to 19.86. There we go. Next thing is to get this up on the end, so it's like that way. So we need to move it 90 that way. Ooh, wrong direction. Sometimes it likes to do its own thing. There we go. And then we want to rotate it 90 degrees. Like that. There we go. So then we can align this with this. Like so. So for bottom and so all the bottoms are flat against each other. Then we center it like that. Put them together. And there we have it. I might reduce it a little bit more. So let's go with 19.8. And then align these two together. There we go. Just so this intersects more. Because you can see here, it's just a little lip. Not much. Because most of it is, if you look at the bottom, most of it's amongst there anywhere. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to do a little bit more. So I want to change the length of this. Let's do 19.75. Just doing these little increments helps. There we go. Now it's fully merged. Move that halfway. So this will be all printed as one block. I'm not doing that little tab bit there because this I'm going to attach a different way onto here, other than the big center piece going down there. This is the beauty of doing 3D printing. You can do it exactly like it is on here. So I could theoretically not print this in pieces and print it as one. Not put it all together and print it as one. I could do that. However, as this is going to be at PG scale, I want it in bits, preferably. I do have a Saturn, which does have a big enough build plate, but I also got a Mars, which has my ABS in it. So I can either print it in resin or print it in ABS. I'd rather print it in ABS. So for Mars build plates like that, and if these are angled at PG size, it might work. We'll see. But yeah. And then all we do is group them together. Then we have that piece. What I'm going to do before we group them together, actually, I'm going to ungroup them. So next piece is this area here with this little chunky fella. So all this is going to be printed as one piece. All this here, it's got to be printed as one piece because it's not that much longer than this, so it's not too bad. But this bit here, which I did earlier today, has to be printed separately. That's a bit you missed these, me putting these holes in and putting all this together. This was more complicated than this. So yeah, the next part we're going to do is just going to build this little block, which goes in this area. We're going to have to make a hole for it, just so this can move. When we make this bit, it can move freely in there. Wizard, I say. I'm just using a very basic program for making CAD CAM to make things I need. Anyone can do this. This is why I'm showing you, so you yourself can then learn and absorb and do it yourself. Like, this is going to be very easy. This will be very easy to do. All this in there. It's going to look really good once it's done. But using basic shapes, manipulating them, merging them, cutting them, you get the shapes you want. Like this bit here. Like I had to make my own hole so I could cut this shape out. It's not hard to do. I'm hoping you're all learning and you're all enjoying it for what it is. Because it's coming together nicely. It's looking the part. So yeah, so we'll do this hole next. And what I'll do is we'll use the alignment tool as well. If you're lucky, you might get some Pokemon near the end. If you're lucky. I've also got to get me a new mic arm because this is starting to fall apart. Can't handle the weight of my mic. Oh, there you go. Do it in a second. For the end, alright mate. Do 2 packs then. 4.6. There we go. So that's where the hole is. On this side. Doesn't matter which side we do this, to be honest. It depends which way you want the bazooka to sit on his backside. Do you want it pointing? So if he's facing this way, do you point it that way, which is the way this has it, or do you want it pointing that way, out of his right side? Oh, sort of aesthetic thing. And that's something you can change. Once I made it, you can change that when you go to print it. You can mirror it in the slicing software. Alright, let's get a little square. 0. Width. Look at that, 3.14. And then 6. And then width wise, what's the width of this? 9.9. Let's go with 4. Yeah, 4 will do. So what we'll do is we'll align it with this first, just so it's at the right height, and then we'll align it with this. So that there, and there. Which is helpful as well because this piece will align with the edge of that hole. So that's good. Bring the hole out a little, just so I can grab it easier. It's got about good. Cool. So we're going to do this piece next, which won't be too difficult. So get another block down like that. Then we'll do measurements of this entire thing, get a basic shape. So it is 5.5 wide, go with 11. High. Cool. And then we're gonna make it as deep as the pegs take it. Because we're not used. This is gonna be a fix straight to the end. So and that's 5.7. Cool. 5.7. Okay, so that's how big this block is. And now we just got to shape it in whatever shape we desire. And I'm going to try and get it as close to what they've done here. So we're going to need a triangle piece for this because there's a lot of triangle piece beveled edges. So that's not too bad. We got into a hole. So the first piece, we need a bevel. So we don't need a bevel on that. Yeah, we do. Okay, so these bevels are very tiny. I mean, absolutely tiny. So tiny I don't think we can see them. Yeah, looking at 0.3 of a millimeter. 300 nanometers. There we go. That's how small bevel we're talking about. Of course, that will get bigger when you scale it up. It will get bigger. But for now, for us, that's as big as it gets. And that's all along the edge, top of the edge. So we need another 2 of these. So 90 degrees. Minus 90. There we go. So all we do is align these up. I hate when it does that. When you click it and it clicks off. Yep. Looks like I could do with extending the length of these. Oh, hello. How you doing, Toasty Pineapple? How you doing? Yeah, change the sizes as well, don't I? Add an extra 2 millimeters on. That side doesn't have them on yet because you're going to cut it down first. Good to you. I'm alright. You know, I'm getting by. I'm 3D designing and all that. All that jazz. So much fun. Alright. Yeah, so that's the beveled edges along the edge, and then we need the beveled edges on the corners, of course. So we take one of these, copy it, and then we've got to change the sizes, of course. And you join me as I continue with my PG Bazooka design. Oh, yes, that's how neat this is. Fix that wall. 0.05. Cool. Yeah. yeah, we're just finishing off part of a bazooka. So far today, we finished off the trigger housing and coupling of the front part and the rear part of the bazooka. We also did the rear part and the shoulder mount, and now we're doing the skirt attachment, where you attach it to the skirt. I need 4 of these. There we go. Right. What are you doing? Oh, that's 90. There we go. Cool. Yep. And then these two, the same. Why does it do that? Okay, you do that and then it just comes off it sometimes. Hey. Cool. And then what we do with these two is we'll mirror them the other way. There we go. And what we do now is just add them to the block. I'm just aligning them all to the right corners. Now we've done that, we cut. Just group them together and we get the nice cut of a block that we need. Of course we also need these corners done here. These will be cut down, so I'm not too worried about them. So if I just ungroup it quickly, nick one of these here, take that with me here. Then group these again. I've got this piece here. This has to be angled at 45. Now I do. And then if I do another one and then just mirror it like so. There we go. And then what I want to do is hopefully line these up. So with that and that, I want to, so that's lined up with that edge. So let's get right in here. Let's just line this up again. And then sometimes the best way to align these kind of edges up is just to move it up and down. But of course, it doesn't want me to do that much. Everything can be done by writing on this. And minus 0.05. Are we there? We are. Good. So let's get this lined up. Cool. So I move this over here as best I can. Line them up with the edge. Cool. And I can line this up with this height. That should give me what I want. Awesome. And then we just group these two together. There we go. We got that bevel there too. Nice. So there we go. So we've got that bevel there. Next things we need to do, where the block is, here it is. So what we're going to do next is do this cut here. So it's like a straight in cut, which is not that deep. it's only 0.5 of a millimeter deep. So we'll get one of these. Let's just make it 10 wide. Then 0.5 deep. And then we want the length of it. And 3.4, right. So 3.4. Then just line these up. But there's also, to my annoyance, there is a bevel there, which is, I think, same as the other bevels. That's not bad actually. So if we take this bevel here, let's move it out of the way. Come on. Nope. I want to move you, not change your length. Probably when you're doing with like such tiny ass measurements. And then we just do that. Then what's the length of, so let's get my alignment block. Cool. So 3.4, 1.3 is 3.47 or 3.7. So let's change the size of this block to 3.7. And then we can align it with this. So we get that. Okay. Then we want to align this with this. So that part there, yeah. And then we want to align this with this in the center. Cool. So hopefully when we group all this together here, there we go. Not exactly the bevel I was looking for. So this is going to have to be changed slightly, which is not too bad. Oh, I see what's happened there, yeah. Still not exactly the size I want it. Let's just move this edge here to 2.5. There we go. That's worked. There we go, we've got that bevel now. Cool. Alright then, the last things to do is just the holes that go straight through here and through there. Those cylinder bits, not that bad actually. So we'll measure the hole first, we'll do it from the other side, it's going to be easier. So 5.4. Cool. 3.1. then what's the height of this again? 5.7, this is just 6. Cool. So we have a hole here that we can use. Next thing to do is to measure how far that is from the edge. 1.1. So let's just make this 1.1. Then align that with the bottom of this. Like so. Then, oh yeah, I need a 5.4, 1.1 is 6.5. Now I can align these two the same height, and then align that in there. So center, center. There we go. And then the next hole is this one here. So it's not all the way through. It does go from one end to the other. So we'll get another one of these. It's going to be the same width and depth. So 3.1. But it's not going to be the same depth exactly. Let's see. Can measure the depth. .5. Cool. Let's do 2.55 because of the alignment. Well, no. Don't need to do that. Let's go 2.5. Doesn't matter about the length of it because it's going straight out the top anyway. So we want first to align it with the back side of this. So we need it to be the same height. There we go. And then we can align it with this. Center and then the top. Like that. So we'll group these two first. Like so. What I want to do next, I do want to do these bits here inside there, you see the two cylinders. I do want to do them, so get those done. So you're looking at 2 in diameter, right? Let's get all the sides done like so. 2 total, there we go. So from 20 to 2. There we go. Right, then we want to put it on this side. 19, cool. We're going to make it the same width as this. Which is 5.5. Cool. Then we want to cut a center bit out of it. So let's measure that center bit. What's the width of that center bit? Oh, it's easier this side. And look at 0.95. Right. So I'll make another hole. We'll make it slightly wider in diameter. Funky 3D magic process is cool. Yeah, when it works, just move 90 degrees. Why aren't you moving 90 degrees? Do as you're told. Why does it keep moving my mouse? There we go. Alright, then let's align these two up here. these two together. So even though there's a hole in the middle of these two, they're still one piece. And then what we want is we want them a certain depth. So 1.1 down. And 2. So 3.1. Right. I'm going to align this. My alignment block with this. Right, cool. First I need to get this aligned with this, because it is in the center of this hole. And I can align it with this. Like so. So the first thing to do is that hole and this block be grouped, and then we just group these. There we go. So that block is done. All we need to do now is add it to where the hole is. So we shall align it with this hole, height-wise, and then we need this. Right. So we know it's going to be in the center of that. We need for depth. How deep it goes. So I need to attach it again. There we go. So it's 12.8. So our alignment block will be 12.8. Let's just rotate it 90. Right. Now if we align our block with the tube, there we go. So this then aligns with that block top, like so. And then we can center align this with this, like so. There we go. So all we do now is get this hole and merge it with the cylinder, and then we get this piece and merge it with the cylinder. There we go. So now that's that done, we can then merge the shoulder piece with the cylinder. After a while it takes a little while to merge things because they get more and more complicated, but there we go. We now have a hole. Over 100 bits, Sage. Much appreciated. And hello. How you doing? You just joined us in time as I'm finishing up for the day. And here and enjoying the show, just sorting med stuff too. That's fine. We're about to do Pokemon anyway. Let me just. There's a hole I gotta change. No, I don't. Stupid. Yeah, I gotta change the height of this hole. There we go. Cool. And that is another piece done. Do Gundam stuff, keep going. Good news, my pop-in-law's ordering wheel for delivery tomorrow, but I owe him. So fundraiser thing tonight will essentially be paying off the debt for Princess Wheel, but we're already at 20%, so I'm thankful. That's good. Alright then, so today, So this is what we've got to do today. We'll continue again on Monday evening with more of this. So today we finished the first tube part of a bazooka with key and the flume, which is this piece here. We have also done the coupling piece and the trigger housing, so where all this the pistol handle and the trigger attaches to here, like so. We have done this piece, which is here, and now we've done all of this is one piece, including the holes in the bottom and the notch and bits for this piece and this piece. So we've done quite a bit today. Okay, well, if you're hopping off, then I'm going to yours. Alright, Sage, see you in a bit. I'm going to do Pokemon first, though, before I go. Because V did redeem some Pokemon. Pokemon first, yes. Pokemon first, then chores. But yeah, I'll be on again Monday night. Continuing this. And V is on tonight, so go watch him tonight. V can always do a shout out for himself if he wants. So we're going to switch to desk cam. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because I'm selling stuff. Making money. Talk about Pokemon. Right, I'm going to open one of these because it's special. And then V will get a choice. Wrong one. Which one, V? Why's it always that clear? Which one do you want? You want Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Go, Violet EX, or Scarlet EX? Red EX. Red EX it is. The rest will just go in here. Cool. And we'll also do a V-Star universe. Because, you know. Because I can. It's my channel, damn it. I'll do what I want. Okay, we'll just do it this way. It's got a Smoliv, Krogunk, Sandile, Cacturn, and that weird dragon type sushi fish thing. So I think I've got all of them already, so they'll be going to V. And then V-Star Universe. Some of the best cards. They've gone up in price, unfortunately. So I'll be having to save up more. So yeah, so let's go. We have a Spirit Tomb. Can't remember the trainer's name. A Goldeen with legs. Yes, it's Goldeen with legs. Crystal Ball. Punkaboo. What was that? Punk Gourd. Can't remember. Registeel. Nickit, I think. What was Nickit's pre-evolved form? Then we got a reverse hollow trainer belt. We got a shiny Bibarrel, whatever it's bloody called. A shiny Magnezone. And a what was it? Simisage V-Star. It's not the best V-Star Universe pack I've opened, but it's good enough. So these are tasty, go yeah. So these are some of the spares I'm sending to V later, because you know I already got them. I don't need them. You can have them. Any spares out of these packs will go to V as well. So you can give to the Poke Shop at Pokely. Not a Japanese Giratina. That's too much. Hey, it's worth nothing to me at the end of the day. I'm sending this to Rick when I get his kit. Japanese Shiny Lucario from the V-Star universe. Eventually, I'll just be doing Pokemon card giveaways. It's like, oh, it's a spare, I'll give it away on the channel for all those who are following or comment in the section next. That kind of thing. So yeah, I'll do that soon. But any old who, I've got your surprise kit lined up. I'm gonna get you. I bet you are. Anyway, thank you all for following. Much appreciated. For those who, especially Sage, who give me some bitties. Very nice. And yeah, on Monday night we'll continue and watch V tonight. Yep, stay awesome. Bye all.